Hello, everyone, and welcome to another special edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining and helping this channel grow. Small news, if you have not seen it, be sure to check out some of my community posts. You'll find interesting things on there as well. But with that being said, let's talk about tonight's episode of NXT. And thank you guys for your views on Monday Night Raw, my reactions, everything. Last night was awesome. And tonight was pretty good as well. WWE really steps up their game on WrestleMania season, let's be honest. Tonight we opened up the show, I believe. I forgot how we did everything, so I'm gonna speak out of order. First, we saw a pretty excellent promo segment between Blake Monroe and Jada Parker, which ended up with those two coming to blows, and Blake coming out later to say, "Hey, I've hit my dark side. We're gonna fight at Vengeance Day, which is this Saturday, in a street fight." This will probably be Jada Parker's domain, so the Lord better be your shepherd, because this is not what you want, Blake Monroe. Because this Saturday, I do believe the street fight goes to Miss Parker. Of course, Dark State has one of their members attacked, and there's going to be one of the members of Dark State called out Tony D'Angelo, only to have Tony D'Angelo come out, and they had a great exchange on the microphone. And so it was said that things will be on site this Sunday. I don't know if they're going to be at that Orlando arena where the Royal Rumble 2016 is, or if they're going to be at the Performance Center where they usually are every Tuesday in Orlando. But I know they're going to be in Orlando this Saturday for Vengeance Day. Also, Myles Bourne and Ethan Page, all asshole Ethan Page, fought with their suits on until they got ripped off. Ethan Page got his suit ripped like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat ripped Ric Flair's clothes in that brawl right before Chi-Town Rumble. And in the end, it was Myles Bourne with a shoe who won this match and retained his North American NXT Championship. We would see Zarya face off against JC Jane, and somewhat expectingly, we saw in the end Sol Roca come in and go for a Super Soul Snatcher on both Zarya and JC Jane, calling this match to be a forfeit due to outside interference. I think they're building up for either a triple threat match between Zarya, JC Jane, and Sol Roca at Vengeance Day. Nah, I don't think that's what they're doing, because Zarya and Sol Roca need to have their own match at Vengeance Day, like Ciampa and Gargano, like Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. So going forward tonight, we had the main event of Ricky Saints trying to act like The Rock in 2003 to mock Joe Hendry in his concert. First of all, it felt like watching Showtime at the Apollo. Now, unlike the Showtime at the Apollo fans, I'm not gonna boo a kid like they did. What's her name? What's the name from? What's the group I'm thinking of? Lauryn Hill. Yes, Lauryn Hill. I'm not gonna do to a child what the fans did to Lauryn Hill, even though much respect to Lauryn Hill for overcoming the crowd boos and still putting on a great performance and becoming a legend to this day. But I felt like it was like Showtime at the Apollo, because as Ricky Saints tried to sing, which by the way was terrible, The fans erupted in boos. You know who else deserves the showtime at the Apollo treatment, however? Julian Hall. Anybody remember her and her terrible singing back in the latter days of the Ruthless Aggression era? Thankfully, Joe Hendry came and stopped the concert and the agony and just in time. And by the way, my prediction is obviously on Joe Hendry to retain the NXT championship. And at NXT Underground, my money, despite having a bad hand, is still on Lola. Now, I believe Kalani is going to be very competitive because we saw her training with two-time NXT champion and MMA performer in her own right, Shayna Baszler. So, Kalani has a shot, but this is Lola's domain. Just like Hell in a Cell belongs to The Undertaker and Triple H, this is their domain, and not many people can win in their enemy's domain. So, those are my predictions and my thoughts on tonight's episode of NXT, which was pretty good. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What are your predictions for Vengeance Day, as well as your thoughts on tonight's episode of NXT? I'm your host, Daniel Cody. That's all the time I have for you today. And I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling. Have a great week, everyone.